Did the Anunnaki enslave humanity under the guise of benevolence, and is the evidence hidden within plain sight? Anthropological and archaeological evidence discovered over the past 100 years suggests that Sumerian texts reveal a manipulation of humanity, with the Anunnaki masquerading as all-powerful gods. The following presentation will expose the truth of their rise to power. This information has been deliberately suppressed for millennia. Picture the first civilization on Earth established after the biblical Great Flood, transforming mud and clay into architectural marvels. It was here in Sumer that the Anunnaki arrived, not as deities, but as ancient astronauts harnessing advanced technology to claim eternity for themselves. Conventional history credits the Sumerians with the invention of civilization itself, pioneering writing, agriculture, and law. But what if this knowledge was not invented but gifted? Were the Anunnaki the all-powerful gods they claimed to be, benevolently guiding humanity's first steps? But what if the Anunnaki's rise to power was built on calculated engineering, resource extraction, and the societal control of Sumerian civilization? What if they masqueraded as gods while secretly manipulating human society for their own benefit? It's theorized that different factions within the Anunnaki each had their own agenda for Earth and humanity, and these conflicts played out through human proxies, setting the stage for millennia of human conflict. To uncover the truth behind the Anunnaki Empire, we must delve into the ancient texts and archaeological evidence of Sumer. The following analysis of cuneiform tablet translations and the imposing architecture of the ziggurats will challenge everything you thought you knew and expose a hidden history. Did you know that the Sumerian civilization rapidly advanced in a remarkably short period? Consider the sudden appearance of agriculture, writing, and complex social structures. These are not the marks of gradual advancement, but rather a sudden leap. What if this leap was not natural but engineered? The Anunnaki may have deliberately fostered this rapid growth, not out of benevolence, but for the purpose of resource extraction. Gold, labor, and strategic control of the region were paramount to the Anunnaki, and the Sumerians were merely pawns in their grand scheme. This reveals a disturbing pattern of manipulation, where cultural advancement was simply a mask for a calculated agenda of control. Now, to truly understand the nature of this manipulation, we must turn to the ancient texts themselves. The Atrahasis epic, a story as old as Sumer itself, chillingly details the creation of humans to relieve the gods' relentless labor. Let man bear the load of the gods, that they may be relieved. So says the ancient text. Consider also the ziggurats, those towering structures that dominated the Sumerian landscape. They were not just temples for religious worship. They also served as centers of administrative control, radiating the power of the Anunnaki and their human representatives. And what of the term Ilu, often translated as God? This term carried the weight of both spiritual authority and political power, perfectly encapsulating the dual role of the Anunnaki in Sumerian society. Sumerian society was not a utopia of equals. It was highly stratified, with a clear hierarchy of rulers, priests, and laborers. This rigid structure reflects the Anunnaki's deliberate engineering of a social order designed for maximum control and efficiency. It suggests that the Anunnaki were not interested in fostering human equality or freedom, but rather in creating a system that served their own needs, a system where resource extraction, social control, and the maintenance of their dominance were the ultimate goals. While some argue that the Anunnaki brought civilization to Sumer, this argument doesn't negate the possibility that civilization itself was a tool for more efficient control, a gilded cage designed to keep humanity compliant and productive. But the control of the Anunnaki went far beyond simply engineering Sumerian society. The very bodies of the Sumerians may have been subject to their manipulation. Did the Anunnaki, those self-proclaimed gods, manipulate human genetics to further their agenda. Discoveries in ancient texts hint at the possibility of direct manipulation of human DNA. Let's investigate the genetics of the Annunaki and determine the truth behind this claim. Consider the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic, which details Enki's pivotal role in creating humans with specific traits. It describes the creation of humans from clay and the blood of a slain god, a symbolic act that may hold a deeper, more literal meaning. Researchers theorize that the sudden appearance of specific genetic markers in the human genome, such as traits associated with increased intelligence, physical strength, or artistic ability, could be evidence of Anunnaki intervention. The Sumerian kings, for example, were often depicted as possessing seemingly superhuman abilities, suggesting a genetic lineage distinct from the common populace. Furthermore, a close analysis of the physical features of Sumerian statues and depictions of the Anunnaki reveals elongated skulls, unusual eye shapes, and other distinctive traits that set them apart from ordinary humans, hinting at a different genetic makeup. This evidence implies that the Anunnaki saw humans as a resource to be molded and controlled, a workforce designed to serve their needs, with specific traits and limitations carefully engineered into their very DNA. Now, some argue that these are just myths and legends, symbolic stories meant to explain the origins of humanity. But the consistency of these creation stories across different cultures, from Egypt to Greece and beyond, suggests a common origin, a shared memory of a time when humanity was shaped by outside forces. Think of humans as a designed species, created with specific functions in mind, much like a farmer selectively breeds animals to enhance certain traits. The Anunnaki may have engineered humans for their own purposes, creating a species perfectly suited to serve their needs. But human genetic engineering only served the next phase of the Anunnaki's plans. If such genetic manipulation did in fact occur, what technologies did the Anunnaki employ to maintain their dominance over the Sumerian people? What role did technology play in controlling the Sumerian people? Evidence suggests that advanced devices, cleverly disguised as religious artifacts, allowed them to subtly influence human behavior, shaping their thoughts and actions from afar. We've seen how the Anunnaki may have engineered Sumerian society, manipulated human genetics, and laid the foundations for societal control. All of this points to a calculated manipulation for resource extraction, a systematic exploitation of humanity masquerading as divine guidance. The narrative of the ancient texts, combined with the physical evidence of the ziggurats and statues, merged to paint a clear picture. The Anunnaki had complete control over Sumerian advancement and possessed the means to enforce it. Given all of this, are we ready to reconsider the traditional narrative of the ancient Sumerians? Are we prepared to confront the possibility that our origins are not as benevolent as we once believed? What are the implications if our creators were not gods, but something far more complex, and perhaps far more sinister? Did you know that the Anunnaki wielded advanced technology, cleverly disguised as religious artifacts, to subtly influence human behavior? Consider objects like the Ark of the Covenant, the Urim and Thummim, and other holy relics described within ancient texts. These devices, far from being mere symbols of faith, emitted specific frequencies designed to shape social norms and suppress dissent. This unveils a hidden layer of technological control operating beneath the surface of religious belief, suggesting that religion, in some aspects, may have functioned less as spiritual guidance and more as a sophisticated form of mind control technology. Now, let's examine the evidence supporting this premise. In ancient Sumerian texts, we find descriptions of Anunnaki artifacts possessing unusual powers and functions. Take, for instance, the Tablets of Destiny, described as having the ability to control the very fabric of the universe. It was said that whoever held the tablets dictated the fate of all that existed. Moreover, the very layout and acoustics of ziggurats themselves may have played a role. Imagine these towering structures not only as places of worship, but as massive amplifiers designed to resonate with specific sound frequencies. Describe the architectural features and potential functions. Researchers exploring the potential effects of sound and electromagnetic frequencies on human behavior have made staggering discoveries about crowd control and subliminal messaging. Sumerian religious practices, including rituals and ceremonies, may have been strategically designed to reinforce this technological control. Chanting, music, and elaborate processions could have amplified the effects of the Annunnaki's technology, creating a powerful, unified field of influence. This implies that religion served as a tool for social engineering, subtly promoting obedience, conformity, and unwavering acceptance of the Annunnaki's rule, and not just spiritual expression. Some argue that these artifacts were merely symbolic, representing abstract concepts and spiritual ideals. However, the detailed descriptions of their functions within ancient texts suggest something far more advanced than simple symbolism, implying advanced functions. But it wasn't just religious belief that the Anunnaki had power over. Could it be possible the Anunnaki manipulated the very environment of ancient Sumer? The discoveries reveal how the Anunnaki tampered with the environment. Let's investigate the environmental impact of the Anunnaki. Ancient texts are filled with references to the Anunnaki controlling the weather, the rivers, and even the crop yields of Sumer. Accounts of devastating droughts, catastrophic floods, and widespread plagues are often attributed to the actions, or perhaps the deliberate choices of the gods. Analyze the complex irrigation systems, massive dams, and other infrastructural projects that are often attributed to the Anunnaki. Speculate on the advanced, perhaps even unimaginable, technologies that may have been involved in these ambitious projects. Geologists and climatologists theorize about ancient environmental changes in Mesopotamia. There's emerging evidence of advanced terraforming techniques, or perhaps even technologies capable of manipulating the weather patterns of the region. The Anunnaki may have wielded their control over the environment to maintain their power over Sumerian society. Controlling the food supplies, the water resources, and the overall prosperity of the region would have given them immense leverage over the human population, ensuring obedience and discouraging rebellion. Some argue that these were simply natural disasters, cyclical events that occurred throughout history. However, the Anunnaki may have possessed the technology to exacerbate these events, or even to engineer them for their own purposes, using targeted interventions to trigger or amplify natural disasters. Imagine the Anunnaki as environmental engineers, skillfully shaping the landscape to suit their needs. Just as modern engineers construct dams and canals, the Anunnaki may have utilized advanced technology to reshape the environment of Sumer, transforming it into a resource-rich territory that served their agenda. But controlling the resources would amount to nothing without societal control. What were their true motivations and objectives in Sumer? What did the Anunnaki really want from humanity? The growing evidence suggests a complex agenda that goes far beyond simple resource extraction, hinting at a deeper, more intricate plan. We've uncovered how the Anunnaki used advanced technology, disguised as religious artifacts, to control the Sumerians' minds and manipulate their environment. Each of these discoveries points to a deeper, more calculated agenda than what is commonly understood. When we merge the narrative accounts with the physical evidence of the ziggurats, the artifacts, and the environmental changes, a clearer picture emerges. The Anunnaki not only controlled Sumerian advancement, but also possessed the means to enforce it. Given all of this, did the Anunnaki truly depart from Earth? Or did they find a way to remain here, subtly influencing the course of human history from the shadows? Did you know the Anunnaki's obsession with immortality and control extended far beyond simple resource extraction? Their motivations were deeply rooted in a calculated plan to preserve their genetic legacy and maintain absolute dominance over the burgeoning human civilization. This reveals their true intentions, not as benevolent guides assisting humanity's ascent, but as power-hungry rulers engineering a system of dependence where humans were perpetually reliant on them for survival, their very existence tied to the Anunnaki's favor. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest surviving works of literature, recounts the king's relentless quest for immortality, a desire that led him to seek out Utnapishtim, the survivor of the Great Flood, who was granted eternal life by the gods. His journey, fraught with peril and ultimately unfulfilled, highlights humanity's yearning for what the Anunnaki possessed. And what do the Anunnaki have to say about this? The following is an excerpt recovered from encrypted cuneiform tablets attributed to an Anunnaki overseer, Enlil. The humans multiply, their lifespan short, yet their desire for life unending. We must manage their numbers, control their knowledge, and ensure their dependence. Immortality is for the Anunnaki alone, so it was said. Consider the layout of Sumerian tombs and the elaborate burial rituals practiced. Offerings to the gods, intricate burial chambers filled with precious objects, and attempts to preserve the body all point to a deep-seated desire to overcome death, mirroring the Anunnaki's own obsession. Sumerian beliefs about the afterlife further illuminate this dynamic. The concept of a shadowy underworld, where human spirits existed in a state of dependence on offerings from the living, reveals a system where even in death, humans remain beholden to the gods. This suggests the Anunnaki sought to control not just human society, but also their destiny beyond the grave, ensuring their continued worship and dependence, even in the afterlife. Some scholars argue the Anunnaki were simply responding to human needs, providing comfort and guidance in the face of mortality. However, the Anunnaki's own relentless pursuit of immortality strongly suggests a self-serving motive, a desire to maintain their power and superiority over a species they viewed as inherently mortal and therefore subservient. And what if the Anunnaki have never left? What if they are still here, subtly influencing human affairs from the shadows? If the Anunnaki were so powerful, why haven't they revealed themselves to humanity, openly reclaiming their dominion over Earth? Do they maintain secret bases hidden deep beneath the surface, dwell in vast underground cities, or perhaps operate according to a hidden agenda we cannot yet fathom? Let us see what the evidence reveals. Consider the hollow Earth theory, a concept whispered among esoteric circles, which claims that the Anunnaki bodies lie in suspended animation deep within the Earth, awaiting a predetermined time for their return. Esoteric texts, such as the Emerald Tablets, speak of hidden realms and ancient beings slumbering beneath the surface. Researchers and theorists exploring the possibility of hidden Anunnaki bases or underground cities cite claims of government cover-ups, suppressed evidence, and whistleblower testimonies, fueling speculation about a continued Anunnaki presence on Earth. Furthermore, analyze passages describing the Anunnaki's alleged ability to travel between dimensions or conceal themselves from human perception. References to cloaking devices or shape-shifting abilities appear within certain Ray-translated ancient texts, suggesting technologies far beyond our current understanding. This implies that the Anunnaki may be strategically waiting for the opportune moment to reveal themselves and reclaim their dominance over humanity. Perhaps they await a time of global crisis, widespread technological advancement, or a profound spiritual awakening, a moment when humanity is most vulnerable or receptive to their return. Some argue there is no concrete evidence of an ongoing Anunnaki presence, dismissing these theories as pure speculation. However, this does not negate the possibility of advanced cloaking technologies or meticulously concealed agendas, strategies designed to mask their existence from human detection. The Anunnaki, in this scenario, are like puppet masters, skillfully manipulating world events from behind the scenes. They influence political leaders, control financial institutions, and subtly shape cultural trends, all in preparation for their eventual return. But not all Anunnaki agreed on this course of action. What were the internal conflicts and power struggles that raged within the Anunnaki themselves? Evidence suggests a clash of ideologies and competing agendas, a celestial conflict that played out through human proxies on the plains of Sumer. Sumerian myths and legends vividly depict the conflicts between Enki and Enlil, two prominent Anunnaki figures with opposing views on humanity's role and destiny. Enki, often portrayed as a benefactor of humankind, supported human progress and offered secret knowledge, while Enlil sought to control or even destroy humanity, viewing them as a disruptive force. Analyze the historical record of conflict between Sumerian city-states, battles over territory, resources, or religious dominance. Perhaps these conflicts reflect underlying Anunnaki rivalries, with human cities serving as pawns in their divine game. Scholars who interpret Sumerian history through the lens of Anunnaki power struggles suggest that different factions within the Anunnaki had distinct agendas for Earth and humanity, leading to constant conflict and manipulation. So was saying. Sumerian society was divided into different factions, each seemingly loyal to a particular Anunnaki god or goddess. Cities like Eridu, Nippur, and Uruk, each with its own patron deity, a reflection of the divided loyalties within Sumerian society. The Anunnaki appear to have used human proxies to wage war and advance their own agendas, manipulating human leaders and inciting conflict to maintain control and prevent the rise of a unified, independent human civilization. Some historians argue that these conflicts were simply the result of normal political tensions and competition for resources. However, the potential involvement of the Anunnaki adds a deeper layer of intrigue, suggesting a hidden hand guiding human events. The Anunnaki may have been pulling the strings from behind the scenes, using human proxies to achieve their goals, shaping the destiny of Sumer and perhaps all of humanity. With such infighting, it is unlikely the Anunnaki left Earth. Is it possible that the Anunnaki never truly departed, and that they continue to influence human affairs to this day? Do they control world events from the shadows, subtly guiding humanity towards a specific, predetermined destiny? Evidence suggests a hidden hand guiding humanity from behind the scenes, carefully setting the stage for a new era of Anunnaki dominance, or perhaps a catastrophic reckoning. We've seen how the Anunnaki sought immortality, manipulated human genetics, wielded advanced technology, and engaged in internal power struggles, all pointing to a complex agenda far beyond simple resource extraction. Each of these elements reveals a calculated and thorough plan for control and domination, hinting at a grand design that spans millennia. Merging the narrative accounts with the physical evidence of the ziggurats, the artifacts, and the lingering mysteries, a clearer picture emerges. The Anunnaki not only controlled Sumerian advancement, but also possessed the means to enforce it, shaping human society to serve their hidden agendas. What are the long-term implications for humanity? And what does our future hold in light of this ancient, yet potentially ongoing, influence? The stage is now set, the actors are in place. All we need is for the curtain to rise and the players to begin. The Anunnaki's return to Earth is imminent, and all current and past world events are breadcrumbs leading to this great destiny. Their plan for humanity is nearing completion. Their control, immortality, and hidden manipulation, from Sumer to the modern day, all point to one thing: the time of the return is now. A return that is not just physical but spiritual and technological as well. Did you know that ancient Sumerian tablets and Akkadian texts contain prophecies detailing the time of the Annunnaki's return? The Enuma Elish, for example, speaks of a celestial alignment, a great conjunction when Nibiru, the home planet of the Anunnaki, will once again be visible in the night sky, signaling their return. Scholars who have retranslated these ancient texts point to specific dates and celestial events that align with modern-day occurrences. Modern-day wars, economic crises, and rapid technological advancements can all be seen as precursors, fulfilling the ancient prophecies and paving the way for the Anunnaki's arrival. As the researcher, Dr. Armin, was saying, who specializes in ancient prophecies, the signs are all around us. The ancient texts are not mere myths. They are roadmaps to our future, or perhaps our doom. These synchronicities between ancient prophecies and modern-day events are not coincidences. They are deliberate signs, carefully orchestrated by the Anunnaki, indicating their impending return. This return will be a time of great upheaval and transformation for humanity, a period of both immense opportunity and profound danger. Some claim that these prophecies are merely symbolic, metaphors for spiritual or social change. However, the specific and detailed nature of these prophecies and the uncanny way in which they are aligning with modern-day events suggests a more literal interpretation. The prophecies tell of the skies darkening, the seas boiling, and the earth trembling. This is not just symbolic, this is the world about to change. However, the Anunnaki did not have full control. Who stood in the way of the Anunnaki, and what efforts did they make to stop them? Evidence reveals secret societies and individuals worked in the shadows to protect humanity. But what if the Anunnaki had to face an unexpected opponent, a force that sought to protect humanity from their control? Throughout history, stories have surfaced of secret societies that fought against the Anunnaki's control, guardians of forbidden knowledge. The Knights Templar, the Illuminati before its corruption, the Rosicrucians, and various mystery schools all share a common thread: a dedication to preserving ancient wisdom and resisting tyranny. Consider the symbols, rituals, and practices of these societies. The compass and square of the Freemasons, the tree of life of the Kabbalists, and the alchemical symbols of the Rosicrucians all point to a deeper understanding of the universe and a desire to unlock humanity's hidden potential. Consider this excerpt from the diary of a purported Knights Templar member. "We sought to protect the secrets of Solomon's temple, secrets that could empower humanity to resist the false gods who seek to enslave us." What were their motivations? How did they operate? And what sacrifices did they make? These societies emerged during times of great upheaval and oppression, acting as beacons of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. They sought to preserve ancient knowledge, protect humanity from the Anunnaki's influence, and guide humanity towards a future of freedom and enlightenment. They believe knowledge is power, and that they should guard that power. Some dismiss these societies as evil or misguided, accusing them of conspiracy and manipulation. However, a closer examination reveals their positive contributions to humanity. They fought for freedom, promoted knowledge, and inspired countless individuals to seek a better world. The truth about these societies is they operate with the greatest of intention for the well-being of humanity. Despite the resistance, what can humanity do? What does the future hold for humanity? Will humanity be enslaved by the Anunnaki, or will it rise up and claim its freedom? What happens in the final act? The seeds of rebellion are already sown, and the stage is set for a final confrontation between humanity and its ancient overlords. So, what have we learned? The Anunnaki are returning. Secret societies have been working to protect humanity, and the future of humanity hangs in the balance. The various threads of our narrative come together to paint a picture of hope and resilience. Despite the odds, humanity has the power to shape its own destiny. What choices will humanity make? What are you going to do? The return of the Annunaki is coming, but will humanity be ready for their return? As we reach the end of this exploration into the Annunnaki's role in Sumerian history, we've uncovered a complex and often unsettling narrative, filled with manipulation, control, and hidden agendas. Now, let's synthesize the main points and consider their implications for humanity. The Anunnaki were not simply benevolent gods bestowing civilization upon mankind, but manipulators who deliberately engineered Sumerian society for their own purposes. The evidence suggests a calculated effort to control human development, technology, and even genetics. The Anunnaki came to Earth seeking resources. They engineered mankind to extract those resources. They manipulated our genetics and technology to maintain control, and more shockingly, they never truly left. With this knowledge, you are now empowered to interpret ancient texts with a more critical eye, to question established narratives, and to understand the hidden forces that have shaped human history. Now, for the twist. The Anunnaki never truly departed from Earth. Instead, their bodies lie in suspended animation within the hollow Earth, waiting for the opportune moment to re-emerge and reclaim their dominion. Given their continued presence, what does this mean for our understanding of free will and destiny? Does this alter our knowledge of if humanity will become free or enslaved? If the Anunnaki remain, does humanity truly possess the agency to determine its own fate? The story of the Anunnaki is not just an isolated event in ancient Sumer. It connects to the universal theme of humanity's struggle for freedom and self-determination, a cycle of power and control that has played out across countless civilizations and millennia. This saga serves as a stark reminder of the ethical and moral consequences of unchecked power. The choices made by the Anunnaki present a powerful moral lesson. Good or bad, and what is the true intention? Despite the challenges and uncertainties, humanity possesses an indomitable spirit, a resilience that has allowed us to endure even the darkest of times. Though the Anunnaki controlled the narrative for millennia, the potential for change remains. The spark of rebellion flickers within humanity, a refusal to be subjugated, a yearning for freedom that can never be extinguished. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Astral Legends for more content on ancient mysteries and legends. Engage with us in the comments section, sharing your thoughts and theories on the Anunnaki and their influence on human history. We want to know your thoughts. Until next time, remember what's false and seek the real truth. In our next video, we will be touching on the Pyramid Wars and the battles fought for control of Earth's sacred sites, and learn the even deeper secrets that await.